proving that two triangles are similar is a very easy thing to do. Okay? If you want to prove that two triangles are similar, it's a very easy thing to do. Especially if you are given the names of the triangles. Okay? If you are given the names of the triangles, usually the names are named according to the order of corresponding angles. So you just use the names, okay, of those triangles to prove that those two triangles are similar by identifying the corresponding angles and by giving reasons that are appropriate to the specific triangle. So here we have triangle MFH. It's always better to have a highlighter. So we've got MFH. So that's MFH. So we've got this triangle here. And then we also have MGF. So MGF is the bigger one. So those are the two triangles. Okay? Now, based on the names, I'm sure you can all see that they both start with M. And that M refers to that common angle. Okay? So right here in triangle MFH and triangle MGF. Okay? And triangle MGF. Alright, so here angle M is common. Okay? Then we also need to see if we can prove that angle F and G, that is F2 is equal to angle G. So we're talking about these two. So we have F2 there and angle G. Okay? Now those two can be a bit challenging to prove that they are equal. So you move on to H and F. Okay? H is, it will be this angle here. Okay, and then we also have angle F, but the F now is going to be that whole angle there. Okay, so we need to prove that those two are equal. So we've got M is done, then we have got F from MFH, we have got F2, and then from MGF, we have got that angle there. Okay? And then we have got H, which is this one here. That will be H1 plus H2. And then we have got F, which is going to be F1 plus F2. So the question will be, how can we prove that this angle here, that is angle F2, okay, is equal to angle G, based on the information that we actually have here. So we have got two cases. One is to prove that F2 is equal to, it will be F1 plus F2, F2, the one in brown, is equal to angle G. Then we also have to prove that H1 plus H2 is equal to angle F1 plus F2. How do you go about doing that?
Corresponding angle picture angle.
Okay. Because here we have got a line which is parallel to LK. Can that help?
Yes. Or you could do two ways. So you could say that MFG is equal to K1 corresponding.
Which one?
MFG
MFG
is equal to K1 corresponding angles, and K1 is equal to MHF, exterior angles of cyclic quad. And then you could say, okay, those are equal. Or you could go the other way around, and you can say that G is equal to L1 corresponding angles, and L1 is equal to F2, exterior angles of cyclic quad.
Right. In my case, I would just prove that K1 is equal to angle H1 plus H2. Right? Because this is an exterior angle of a cycling quad, that is K1. Can we have one lesson?
Yes.
K1 is equal to H1 plus H2, but at the same time, K1 is equal to angle F1 plus F2. Therefore, these two are going to be equal. So we start with the exterior angle of a cycling quad first. Okay, I don't know how you approached it.
That's what I did. That's what we did.
So I'll start by saying K1 is equal to, okay, this angle here, I'm just going to call it MHF. So MHF, and the reason will be exterior angle of cyclic quad. Okay? And then K1 is equal to angle MFG. Okay? And our reason for that is going to be corresponding angles. Then you have to state the lines that are parallel. So it will be KL is parallel to FG. Okay? Then you can conclude that therefore, now here when you are naming, when you are writing them down, you have to be very careful. So I've got MHF, which is part of this triangle. So I'm going to start by saying, therefore MHF is equal to MFG. Okay? Now that we have got two pairs of corresponding angles that are equal, don't stress trying to prove the third pair. Okay? You don't have to stress them. So the third pair, I'm going to say, okay, the third pair, remember here we have proved that this angle H1 plus H2 has got MHF. So we need that F2, okay, F2, which is this one here, is going to be equal to that angle G. Okay, so I'm going to write F2. Are you following?
Yes.
Huh? Okay, so we have got F2 is equal to angle G, and our reason here will be sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, it's very, very difficult to give another reason which is not that one in terms of F2 and G. Okay?
You could just follow the same pattern that you did.
So that will be equal to, say, MFH is similar to triangle MGF. Okay, then you give your reason here, AAA. If you don't want to give this as your reason, then you can follow the same like the last time where you prove that L1 is going to be equal to F2. Then from there you say L1 is equal to angle G corresponding angles. But I don't want to take that route, it's a longer route. So that's fine. Okay, once you prove that two pairs of corresponding angles are equal, the third pair, sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, so we are done with that. So you get your 5 marks there. The mark allocation, okay, for this question here, because it has got quite a number of reasons, you can get 1 mark there, 1 mark statement and reason, another mark for the statement and the reason, then obviously for stating that the condition of similarity, and then you can get a mark there. All right, so that will be 5 marks. All right, any question? Right, let's move on to the next one. Then the next question says GF, okay, we need to prove that GF is equal to FH. Now, usually, in most cases, once you prove that triangles are similar, you need to use that for some of the questions underneath that proof on similar triangles. These questions are not in isolation, they are connected. So this question here, it has got a connection with that. There is a connection. So if you are doing your own practice, if you are asked to prove that triangles are similar, be aware that any question after that is most likely to have a connection with those similar triangles. They are not questions in isolation. There is a strong connection. Okay? So here we have got GF over FH. Right, I just need to remind ourselves that to do this question, we'll just use our similar triangle. So we've got GF, okay, which is that, and then we have got FH, which is going to be that one. So I'm just going to go back to my triangles here, then I'm going to write the ratios of the corresponding sides, and then I'll choose the appropriate ratios. Okay, so it's going to be MF divided by MG. This will be equal to FH divided by GF. Okay, and then we have got MH and MF. Okay, now if you look at it using common sense, here we have got GF over FH, which is the same as this one here, but the GF is a numerator. So I'm going to interchange all the numerators, I'm going to swap them with the denominators. Alright, so I'm going to need this ratio because that's similar to that. Okay, then based on the information now, if we go back to the diagram, alright, can I have your attention here, please? Based on the diagram, okay, if ML is equal to Y, okay, because we have got KL parallel to GF, it means that one I can call it 2Y, okay, from the proportion theorem. Right, so I've got MF, which is going to be 3x, okay, and I've got MG. My MG is going to be all the way up to there. Okay, so this one here may not work to see MH. Okay, MH, yes. And then we have got MF, yes. So I'm going to choose these two. Okay, I'm going to choose those two. So you have to use common sense. And here the reason will be similar triangles. Okay, so if I choose these two, I now have to swap the numerators and the denominators. So I can write and say, therefore, GF over FH will be equal to MF over MH. Okay, but our MF is equal to 3x and MH, right, MH is going to be equal to 2y. Okay, just 2 marks. Okay, but I wish that this question here had more marks actually, but it's just 2 marks, so if you do that, then that will be fine. Okay, and then you are done. Okay? Yeah, well, when you are doing these questions, you must use common sense. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing making sense or not? Right? Okay, so let's move on to the last one now. Now, again, this question here is not as difficult as you might think. It also comes from similar triangles. Okay, to get those ratios, you have to start with what? Similar triangles. Right? So, if I go back to this ratio here, okay, I'm going to rewrite it on the next page. So I've got MF over MG, and that's equal to FH over GF, FH over GF, and that will be equal to MH over MF. Okay, and obviously this is based on similar triangles. Okay, now among these three ratios, we need to choose two that will make us have that ratio. Okay, so if I start with MF, okay, I've got 3x. Then I've got MG, which is gonna be 3y. Okay, so this one here, I could take that. Then I've got this one here and that one. I think those two, they're equal as well. So if I choose FH, okay, FH, okay, this one here, I got it, I think, from the previous question. Okay, I've got FH and this one here, so I can use that as well. Okay, so I can choose the first two. So if I choose the first two, I'm going to end up having MF, which is going to be 3x, divided by MG, which is 3y, and that's equal to FH over GF. FH, yeah, I got that. So we've got 2y over 2x. 2y over 3x. So that's FH over GF. Okay, I've got FH over GF, which is 2y over 3x. So that will be 2y over 3x. Okay? Right? Then you do some cross multiplication. Okay? If you do cross multiplication, you get 9x squared equal to 6y squared. Okay? Then from here, we want y to be our numerator and x to be the denominator. So what this means is better to do to take this 6y to the right, and then you can write it like that, because we want the y to be our numerator. Okay, you have to use common sense. You want the y to be the numerator, so it's better to have the 6y squared on the left hand side. Then from there we divide both sides by 6, and you get y squared equal to, okay, I can simplify this and just write it as 3 over what? 2 x squared. Okay, no, not like that, sorry. But I need to take the square root. So that would be x squared. So I'll divide both sides by x squared. If I divide both sides by x squared, I'll get y squared over x squared is equal to 9 over 6. But I know that this one here is going to be equal to 3 over 2. So this is the same as y over x is equal to the square root of 3 over 2, which is what you got. So we are just playing around with some terms in x and y. It's just algebra here. There is no geometry at all involved. Only the geometry is here, identifying those ratios from similar triangles. The what? These two. I use the first two. Okay. If you try to use MH and MH and MF, it would also work. Okay. Either way, if you choose this one and the first one, it's fine. Or you choose the first one and the third one, they will give you the same result. Okay. All right. So it's just algebra here. using your two triangles that are similar together with your knowledge of algebra, and then you are done. All right.